My Hero Academia. Boy, am I glad I actually got into this series. It's like an anime, but good. Oh, I'm only kidding. I've watched quite a few animes that I've liked, but what surprised me here is how much I actually got into this shonen series. So I figured, why not make a video talking about it? But what to talk about? I just finished watching a video of all the super moves from that video game that's coming out, so I could possibly rank them all in a top 10 list, or top however many are in the game. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. A couple disclaimers before we start. 1. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of this game's art style, so don't expect me to be blown away by a lot of these moves here. In fact, that just means anyone that has a higher spot has really earned it. 2. While I am a fan of fighting games and big flashy super moves like this, I don't exactly have a lot of artistic experience. I'm no Sugar Punch Design Works here, so don't expect me to have any sort of in-depth visual critiques here. This is mostly just me goofing around with these moves a little. And 3. None of those smelly DLC characters stinking up the list. We're keeping this one as a pure experience. Let's begin! What's upsetting is that this one has a lot of initial promise, but then it turns out to be both long and dull. You know you're in for one mild ride when the first thing you see is Dark Shadow looking like he forgot what he even came into the room to do. I really wish they had put more of a focus on Falco here losing control over Dark Shadow, instead of Dark Shadow just sort of nonchalantly whipping around the opponent with all the aggression of a restless toddler trying to get the attention of his parents, and then eating them? Is that something that happened in the show? Did Dark Shadow ever swallow someone whole and then spit him out like goddamn Kirby? Maybe it's something that happens in the manga. I wouldn't know, I haven't exactly read that. So if you read the manga then, please email me, or maybe you can just come over to my house instead. It's okay, don't be shy, I won't bite. I'll bake some cookies and we can talk about my hero. Wait, where are you going? Don't run! どうなっても知らねえぞ。やりすぎた。So, as a fan of this series, I feel like I'm supposed to like this one a lot more. You know, with it being like a reference to one of the best fights in the show, a defining moment for both Todoroki and Midoriya's character. But I just kind of feel like this one's alright. Nothing special, just kind of looks like a worse version of something that happens in the show. Sorry there, Todoroki. You know, maybe if you weren't responsible for so many hand injuries, I'd place yours a bit higher on the list.
Whenever I'm involved, someone's hand gets all messed up. I'm like the hand crusher or something.
I know, look, I'm sorry Midoriya, but there's just really nothing all that special about this move. It's kinda boring. Not horrible or anything, it's just missing that little something extra, you know, something that really makes it pop. Something like, oh, I don't know, maybe an extended close-up on you clenching your fist, like in that one episode when you're fighting Todoroki and you're breaking all of your fingers just to stand a chance. And then we get that nice crunching sound.
You haven't managed to put a single scratch on me yet!
Oh, yeah. God, I love that sound effect. It just really sells you on that feeling of Deku further breaking his already broken fingers. So much so that you can actually even sort of imagine it happening to yourself, really. You know, like the sound effect is so good that you can sort of imagine how it would feel yourself, visualizing the event but with you in Deku's place. Or maybe you can even visualize someone else doing it to you by, I don't know, maybe stepping on them, grinding their foot into your broken bones, all like... but, you know, like, not in a weird way or anything like that.
Froggy? Froggy?
I know there's probably a limit to what you can do creatively with a superpower like Frog, but is this really all you've got? Seems like you didn't really put all that much effort into this. Shocking for a fan-favorite character. It's fundamentally no different from her super move, you know, the one that's supposed to be less flashy. Come on, guys, this is a video game. The sky's the limit. How about some environmental changes? Have her hopping around on some lily pads in the swamp or something. That's what, frogs do, right? Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really know all that much about frogs. So if you're a frog, then please email me if I made an offensive statement. And then you can come over to my house for these cookies. Okay, Ida, there's something I want to talk about with you here. It's the glasses. I know you probably like the whole studious class rep look you've got going on there, but don't you think they seem kind of impractical? Especially considering the speeds you tend to travel? You actually have an entire shelf full of backup pairs, acknowledging the fact that they're going to be breaking often, when instead you could just switch to contacts and boom, problem solved. Are you really focusing more on aesthetics than functionality? Not too professional there, Mr. Class Rep. Or maybe you just don't like touching your eyeball. I can understand that. In fact, I don't even really care about this whole glasses thing that much. I just wanted to talk about something else because your special move is kinda boring. Decent sense of speed, but overall nothing that really wows me. I like the pose at the end though, there's some personality there, that's always good. You get an extra lollipop along with your participation trophy there, big boy. Okay, this one just sort of confuses me a little. So the move starts and you're swept up in this little explosion tornado, and then you go from right there next to him to whoops, nope, I guess you're here now. Which, you know, that's understandable. It's for the sake of the move animation and it's a video game. I'll let that one slide. So then here we are, about this much distance apart, I'd say, and then he starts barreling towards you all super fast in this fiery, explosion-y swirl. And then it cuts back to you, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess he didn't travel any distance at all now, did he? What the hell's going on, Bakugo? What was all that for, huh? Were you just swerving back and forth in place just to show off? Because if that was the case, that's honestly kind of funny. You know, I think I'm gonna imagine it like that for now. Also, I just noticed this now. Were we at the top of the tornado or the bottom? Because I thought we were at the top of the tornado, just suspended in midair like that, but it looks like when the move completes, we were at the bottom the whole time. Whatever, I don't actually really care anymore. Why the hell am I making this video again? I kinda wish this move was more of a clusterfuck, for lack of a better word. Yes, you're a tactical genius and all that, but I mean, come on. You have the power to create literally anything you want, and what do you give me? A mace, a mallet, some springs, some swords, and, well, at least you finish it off with something good, like an exploding bunch of, Matryoshka dolls. You see, that's pretty out there and creative, unlike most of the other things you come up with in the series.
The everything hero, I'm creative!
Oh, don't give me that look. Hey, I'm just trying to be objective here, alright? And I'm sorry to say this, but your ultimate is just kind of lacking. It's dull, it's uninteresting. Well, I didn't think you'd actually care that much. You know, I might be willing to change my mind if you were to Oh, I don't know, maybe convince me otherwise? Well, fine, you know what? You could just stay right where you are then! Ah, Hero Killer Stain. When I first saw this move right here, I was pretty damn underwhelmed. Like, sure, this is exactly the kind of thing I'd expect Stain to do, but I was really hoping for there to be more oomph to the move, you know? More spectacle. Yes, I know Stain isn't a man that's about that flashy spectacle life, he's more of a kill you in the back alley kind of guy, but this is a video game, goddammit, and I am not accepting that as an excuse. But then, after giving it some time, I realized that perhaps my standards may have been set a little too high, you know, due to Stain being objectively one of the best characters in the series. I mean, if anyone would like to argue against that, then fine, go ahead, I dare you. So I tried to look at the move a little more objectively, and yeah, it's alright. I like the blood splatter background it's got going on there, because I'm an edgelord like that, and it's overall pretty accurate to what he does in the series. Although if they wanted to be even more accurate with it, they would have had another character come and interrupt him right as he was about to land the final blow. Seriously, that alley fight? That just was not Stain's day. This one I like a lot more for the concept rather than the execution. The thought of having Anchor Arms over here just relentlessly pounding his opponent into the dirt without a single shred of mercy, all while grinning with a sick, twisted joy at the sheer pain he's inflicting. Like, that should be a pretty cool super, but I don't know, there's just something about the presentation of this one that makes it feel a little underwhelming. Maybe the flurry of punches could have been a bit longer and they could have used some more effective camera angles to show it off. Like perhaps a first-person one from the point of view of your opponent? God, that would have given me such a huge boner. I mean, would have given us a greater feeling of the move's devastating impact. Which of course would have given me a huge boner. There we go, now we're starting to get a little better. Nice use of the camera angles there. That lower rotating shot coupled with the yellow streaks really helped give us a fantastic view of just how fast Gran Torino is moving. And the streaks forming the shape of his mask near the end is another stunning touch. Buy me a drink later and I might just be down to follow you back to your place for a little bit of fun there. Because someone doesn't really appreciate me! This one's basically just an improved version of the muscular one. It's got more effective camera angles, a greater sense of impact, and has a bit of quirky personality thrown in there. The only thing it's missing is that whole sadistic bloodlust thing. Unless that's still there a little. I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on through Kirishima's head, am I right?
So if I stand by and do nothing now, how am I supposed to call myself a hero or a man?
Well, that sounds an awful lot like something the UA trader would say.
Alright, I can see that I will have to teach you how to be villains.
By far the most effective part of this ultimate has got to be the silhouetted shot of All For One's grotesque arm transformation. I just love the sound effect and the way it jerks around like a creature from Silent Hill. It's really fitting for the abomination that is All For One's current state. I do have a feeling that this was mostly used to hide the fact that the transformation probably would have looked pretty bad with these graphics, but I don't care. I still think it looks cool. So cool that it single-handedly elevates a somewhat lacking and slow ultimate to this spot. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not terrible, it just sort of feels like it loses all momentum and steam by the end of it. Now, I could go on describing the pros and cons of this ultimate like I actually know what I'm talking about here, but instead, I think I'll switch gears and go over my long list of reasons why All For One is a better dad than All Might. So strap yourselves in, this is gonna be good. Reason 1... Oh, no, see, I'm not actually doing that. That was all part of a joke right there. Yeah, you can go ahead and skip to the next part. You know, unless you wanna stay on me a little longer, and we can make something out of this, right? We can do a little. Up next, we have one of the edgiest members of the League of Edgelords, Himiko Toga. The actual move itself is honestly nothing all that special. I mostly just have it here because it does a pretty damn good job at expressing both personality and character, and frankly, I love this character. She's basically just some little weirdo who watched the Hero Killer YouTube video, got excited by it, and then wanted to kill people too because of it. She's like those people who write Jeff the Killer fanfiction, but taken to the extreme level. I love all the little details about this character too, like her hair, for example, is just look at that mangled, gross, unwashed mess that's being shoved into those buns. It's perfect. I could probably go on about this character for hours, really. Well, probably not for hours. At least I hope I'm not able to talk about a fucking anime character for hours. But basically, this move just captures every little bit of her sweaty, warped excitement. So in other words, I'm just being biased towards characters I like. 全力放電だ。せりゃこれなら俺はクソ強え。Okay, am I the only one who's at least a little disappointed by this character's inclusion? Like, don't get me wrong, he's a fun character in the show, but like, seriously? This guy. You're going to give this guy a spot on the roster and not, oh, I don't know, maybe another villain? Like Mr. Compress? A character who's had far less screen time, but one that I happen to like a lot more? I mean, we already have 13 heroes in the game and only 6 edgy bad guys to play as. Sure, look, I know the series isn't called My Villain Academia, but Mr. Compress is really cool and he would have made for a really great fighter and... Okay, you know what? No, I'm not rewarding this. I don't care that the move has a lot of flashy spectacle and quirky charm to it, because I'm a salty bitter baby, and you know what? It's coming in last place now. Music start! Yeah. それでいい。ボリューム上げてくよ。Yet another character whose inclusion is questionable. Yet another character whose inclusion is questionable, but her ultimate is superb. I think my favorite part about this one are the amps that show up out of literally nowhere. It's like such a video gamey thing that ends up sticking out amongst the rest of the moves that are more limited by the character's own abilities. Almost like the game designers are just off screen like, oh shit, wait a minute, we gotta give the earlobe kid an ult. Quick, grab the amps! This one also gets bonus points for reminding me of the kind of finisher that my main Ino from the Guilty Gear series would do. In fact, she kinda has a similar hairstyle to Ino's. Do I smell a potential game theory video in the works here? Cue the music! Yes, you thought these were her real parents, but it turns out that's not the case. Earlobe Skin Kid is actually the mutant child of both Ino and... I don't know. Probably Jack Black. Yes, but what else would you expect from the #1 ranked hero? Well, probably a lot more than this actually now, come to think of it. You probably expect him to have the #1 spot, but nope. Sorry there, All Might, but you can't win them all now, can you? Let's see now, what do my notes on this one say? Not only is this move a reference to the series, but they also made it look pretty goddamn cool while they were at it. The way the camera continuously circles round him as he's delivering that flurry of blows, and the freeze frames during the final hit. It's all just solid A+ material right there. That sounded pretty professional, right? Like I was an actual YouTuber or something? I also like the fact that it's a 300 hit combo because, you know, that's another reference.
But today it took more than 300 mighty blows.
But I think we can all agree that the best part about this special is watching All Might do it to one of his students, Deku in particular.
Young man, you too can become a hero. You wanna eat with me?
ここで浮かせてはっ
めんどくせえ
今の最大限をガーヘッドマーシャルアーツ解除おっす
Well, this one surely exceeded my expectations. It's also what I'll be using as my secret weapon of sorts, to deflect any sort of criticisms leveled at my list from being called completely biased. You see, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of this character right here. I mean, I don't hate her or anything, I don't think she's an awful character, she's just kind of middle of the road for me, so that's exactly what I expected here. A middle of the road super, but this one honestly surprised me. It is a fantastic example of taking a concept and going one step beyond with it. Plus Ultra. But seriously, this is actually a very creative utilization of her powers and abilities. And hey, it's got some personality with her almost vomiting and passing out. That is always a plus. Good job with this one, guys. Unless this whole thing is just a reference to something she does later in the manga. God, are all these moves just references to things they do later in the manga? Maybe this entire video is pointless. Quick, I need something to get off this topic. Your hero name.
Gravity.
That's dumb. Saved it.
消し済みにしてやるよ大義の前に散れでけえぞいけすかね
God, Blue Fire is so fucking cool. I mean, like, is there anything else I really need to say about this one? It's definitely one of the longest and most dramatic finishers of the bunch. In fact, I actually have a feeling that I'd probably get sick of it if I saw it too much. So let's just go ahead and forget that you heard that, okay? I mean, it's not the length that really matters, right? It's the girth. And this one just happens to be both lengthy and girthy. Can we just go ahead and skip to number 1?
いい加減ムカつくな塵にしてやるよこの手で
So allow me to share with you a little detail that is both completely unnecessary and will also further damage the reputation of this list. If you happen to have made it this far, of course, and if you have, don't worry, it's almost over. If I had to pick a favorite character from My Hero Academia, yeah, it would be Shigaraki. I just love the way he parallels Deku being this up-and-coming villain on his own personal journey, and the writers do a pretty goddamn good job at making him come across as both an inexperienced amateur and legitimate threat at the same time. It's great. and I swear it has nothing to do with his placement on this list. No, no, no. You see, the real reason I'm placing Tomura Shigaraki's ultimate move as the best ultimate move in the entire game is because, well, I have a soft spot for moves that do the whole first-person perspective thing. I think it's cool. I mean, what better way to make the player truly feel the impact of an attack than to put them in the eyes of the person receiving it? So yeah, I suppose I am putting this move at number 1 for a biased reason, but it's a different biased reason. A biased reason that I like to think is a little more credible than the other one. And yeah, there you have it. That's my list. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some other matters to attend to. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and have a wonderful day.